Hi, I'm Brenda. Welcome to my channel. Hope all is well with you and yours with all the crazy in the pandemic and being stuck in the house. It's kind of, kind of trying to find your niche and not go nuts about it. But today, what I want to talk about, pretty much what I'm doing these days is still dealing with winterizing and preparing my plants for the cold weather. It's still, I'm in the south, so it's still kind of hot here right now. So we're good. But what I realized the other day is, I have a lot of these of the snake plants, the Sansevieria. Let me see my big one. I have pretty big, beautiful Sansevieria. I have about 10 of them. And, I've collected them over the years and never paid them much mind. But let me tell you something. This year, I have found a new appreciation for them. Because as I'm trying to find places in my house where there's enough light for other plants, for the fancier, more sensitive plants who need not direct lighting, but just enough indirect lighting and not too much sun, but they do need sun. I find that I love these because I can put them anywhere. I put them behind a wall and they're still fine, So I'm really, it makes me think about when my kids were little and I used to say, I don't have any favorites. My favorite is the one who's not getting on my nerves this week. And that this week is a snake plant. So that's what I want to give a shout out to my snake plant. What I'm going to do this week, what I've been doing is changing. It's a lot of variables with winterizing your plants. And one of the things that I found is that, like, I bought this plant back in the spring. This is my Jade Plant. She's gorgeous. She's done very well. She did very well all summer. She grew a lot, and she's very pretty. And she was fine in the grow pot that she came in. In the summer, it was fine. She, the water would drain, and But the problem that you have in the winter is that you're not getting the sun. If you don't get in the summer, she was getting a couple hours of sun a day in the room where she was. In almost any room I put her in. But now that's not happening. It could rain for 2-3 days, no sun. And so that means that when you water your plants, the water is going to stay in there longer because it doesn't have the sun to dry it out. So what happens, what I found with a couple of my plants, they were starting to yellow, and I was like, what is the problem? And the water wasn't leaking out. I changed the soil and it still wasn't. And I realized, okay, I have a bunch of Terra Cotta pots, and I said it's time. Some plants need Terra Cotta. This is Terra Cotta because it breathes. Okay, a Terra Cotta pot breathes, and some plants need that. And in the winter, it will help your plant dry out quicker than plastic. Of course, nothing breathes through plastic. This is why it's one of these wonderful inventions, because it does everything you can't. It's almost, you can't destroy it. It's it's horrible for the ecosystem and all that, but also it doesn't breathe in the winter when certain plants need to breathe. And so I've gone around with all my pothos and the big ones like this. I had several, and I realized they really needed to be. I'm not exactly up potting because this pot is essentially the same size as far as width. It's just a little deeper. So I'm not putting them in a bigger, I'm not going up, like up a couple sizes where it will cause the roots to have to stress out trying to accommodate that. So what I'm going to do, you see I'm putting a little soil in the bottom. Just a little, because it already has soil, okay? So I put just a little in the bottom. And now I'm going to, let me see, let me get this out of here. Squeeze it a little bit. And voila, voila. Okay, and see, it's kind of root bound a little bit. Not terribly, but, so that's why I won't put it in a bigger pot. So you'll just slide right in here. It's perfect. It's almost the same size as the pot it was in. And then I'll take a little soil and just put it around the top, just to see, so you can see what I'm doing. Just a little in there. Put it in there, around the top, just to make it happy. Do I need any on this side? I don't even know if I need it. I'm going to put a little over here. And a little over here. You know, we'll spread that in there. And just... And she's not quite due to be watered, so I'm not going to water it yet. I'm not going to water her yet. But she'll be happier in here. This will dry out much quicker. Plus, it'll give her a little bit of room to grow. But the Terra Cotta, some of your plants will need Terra Cotta. They need to breathe. I know that I said in an early video, don't take them out of the grow plant. But if you're going to do that to make it, because if you're having a problem and you can't figure out why your plant is turning yellow and that water is still wet, and you know you've put a good aerated soil in there, a good soil mix where it should dry, you know, it has enough air to go through, then the problem is the pot. It's plastic. It's cold. I mean, it's not cold, but the sun is not coming in, so it's not heating the soil. It's just like your lawn. You know, if you have a big rain and you got puddles, you know, what dries that out? The sun. You know, same thing. If it rains for several days or just stays dreary for a couple weeks, then you're probably going to have muddy soil in your yard. So it's the same thing with your plant. It's not going to dry out as well. But if you put it in a Terra Cotta pot, it will dry faster. It will give it a better chance to breathe. And in most circumstances, it will dry out quicker. So this will go in the shed and you know, be used for something else. But that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, is just, you know, you got to kind of understand, if you want to know what plants need that, you got to kind of figure it out with your plants. You know, it's just like your kids. You got to figure out, if you have kids or pets or whatever, you have to figure out what they need, what worked and what doesn't work. Because there are so many questions you can ask yourself when your plants are, when they start to yellow, and you wonder what is going on. Because I have a lemon lime philodendron that I up-potted. I didn't up-pot it, but I changed the pot. I changed from plastic to Terra Cotta yesterday, because I bought that like a month ago, and it's still wet. I'm still waiting for it to dry out, and I was wondering, why is it not drying out? Well, and you can't put it directly in the sun. I can't put it in a good sunny spot by the window when it's a sunny day, because they don't want a lot of sun, because the leaves will burn. So, you know, you got to catch 22 there. So what I did was I sat it outside a couple days when it was nice, just in the morning for a couple hours, and let the soil dry out some. And then I changed it into a Terra Cotta pot. And it seems like it's going to be fine, because I would have been very brokenhearted if that plant had died, because, you know, they're so rare. It's rare to find a lemon lime philodendron, especially these days when you can hardly find anything, any decent plants other than pothos, which I love you, pothos. Now, the jade pothos is rare. This is a rare. But you can find a golden pothos almost anywhere. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. And, you know, getting ready for winter, getting your plants ready for winter, it's just an ongoing process. And just dealing with winter. This is what we'll talk about more, is because just dealing with winter, getting into the winter and the cold weather, and trying to figure out what's going on. What do you need? What don't you need? And, you know, a lot, essentially, most people say, well, they don't need anything in the winter. And, I say that too to myself, but that's not true. You have to understand what they need. You have to kind of figure it out. You have to that's the whole beauty of being a plant lover, learning, figuring out what it is that they need. Why didn't that work? Or what does this plant need? And if you don't want to have to go through that, then I say get yourself a snake plant, because you can water this baby. It's a succulent, and you can water her once a month and she's happy. Once every 6 weeks. You can forget about her and she's still there for you. Now, I wouldn't go a couple months without watering it, but it could go that long if necessary, if need be, because it does. Succulents have their own water in them. If you break open a snake plant, you'll see that it's juicy inside. So it does have, it's not as much, as a jade succulent plant, but, you get the idea. So anyway, that's it for today. And we'll talk some more about the perils of wintering our plants next time. Till next time, peace out.